All right, everybody, welcome back. We have our brother Mo here today. We off site, so we do want to make a special announcement. This is the first time we doing interviews off site. So this is the inaugural episode. I'm gonna self-proclaim it as the new podcast. But man, right now we just want to get into a journey, man. We're gonna call it a journey. So our brother right now is doing Wholesale, and one more thing too. Special thanks to Baldwin and Cole for having us. Make sure you get the notes of a native son if you come through, having us here today. But we definitely want to get into and speak to the people. If you had 0 deals right now, if you had 0 to 1, you had 0 to 5, 0 to 10, this is the interview that you definitely want to check out. Right now, we want to cover exactly, what that journey looks like to get to your first deal. We'll cover what that journey looks like to get to your next deal, and just some background. And hopefully, we'll be able to really hit the head on the nail with somebody that's going through the exact same thing in the exact same position. Because the whole purpose of this interview is to let everybody know, do not be scared. If you have the idea in your mind, you have the fire in your heart, just go out there and do it. And I think Mo will be the one to tell us for sure. So first of all, thank you for coming out. My brother, we're in the hot sun in New Orleans, the cameraman dripping sweat. I'm perspiring, glistening. How you doing, bro?
I feel great, man. It's really, honestly, bro, it's really an honor just to come sit here and talk some real estate with you, man. We've been talking for a while.
Yeah, definitely.
Carla, we met her once or twice, but to sit down and really talk my journey, bro, it feels good.
Right. So
nice
the same question we asked to everybody, man. So how did you even get in the real estate business?
It's a good question. Yep. So honestly, right when COVID hit, when we all kind of thought COVID was going to be like a 2-week thing, kind of in and out, that's when everything slowed down for everybody. So I kind of was in like a little entrepreneurial space, doing a few things here and there. Everything slowed down, and I'm like, okay, the world's going on pause. Like, this is the time to pick something up, learn something new. Even if you fail, you're not losing any steps. Everybody's stuck. You know what I mean? So right around that time, I actually wanted to go and get my real estate license. Like, in the back of my mind, for the longest, I was always like, I wanted to represent like celebrity clients, athletes, like on a bougie kick.
That's what's up.
You know what I mean? So I always wanted to be like a celebrity real estate. So at the time, I tried to go. I forgot what it was called, bro. I think
Donaldson.
Yes.
Yep.
I think I tried to go to Donaldson or something like that, and they wouldn't accept me at the time. Like, I guess something on my record was like shaky. They didn't approve it. Whatever, no big deal. I was kind of like, all right, this sucks. Like, what can I do now? But bro, God is the greatest, bro. Like, God provides. Everything happens for a reason. Yeah. Within like 3 or 4 days after that, like me not getting accepted to kind of move forward, my buddy posts something on Instagram. He's like looking for people to drive, paying $500 per house. I'm like, well, hold on, time out. What are you talking about, bro? Like, bro, what you got going on?
Yeah.
So we ended up getting together. He was actually just getting his first deal under contract. So he completely sold me on the wholesale space, because I'm like, bro, I just tried to get into real estate. I couldn't do it. This is my way in. Like, you can really legally do this?
Right.
So we was sold right then and there. We kind of had the same vision. We're two hustlers and two bosses.
Right.
You know what I mean? So when those visions collide, it's just like beautiful. You want to keep moving and scale up.
Right.
So right then and there, we kind of chopped it up and figured out what we wanted to do, and we just hit the ground and started on.
Yeah.
We started with, I'm talking about, bro, we started with no CRM. We started from scratch. No cold call. No, we had one cold caller, but he sucked.
Yeah.
He wasn't good. So we had one cold caller, Google Sheets, and we was just getting to it. I'm talking about skip tracing leads from the bottom, from A to Z. I was doing all things acquisition, and my buddy was basically getting the leads, marketing, data, and then he would end up selling the deals I would lock up. Right. So it was like a 1-2 punch at the time.
So you literally, I know people promote on Facebook, get into this business, no cash, no experience. That literally was you. No experience, no cash.
No real estate.
So tell us about your first deal. So he already had a deal under contract. That's what got your attention. So first thing first, and we kind of talk about this off camera, having good people around you is always the first step. Having like-minded people around you that have similar interests. Both of y'all hustlers, so you're going to find a way. We're in the middle of COVID. We're going to get to the money some type of way, right? So tell me about your first deal. What the marketing look like? How did you get the seller on the phone? What happened next?
Yeah, it was beautiful. Like I said, everything's written, man. Like, God's the greatest. He just provides. So, Woodmere, we were talking about Woodmere earlier. I'm in Woodmere. I'm driving for Dallas. Because at this time, I'm doing my thing with my buddy. We're trying to get it in. I'm making calls all day, qualifying leads, running comps, setting appointments if the deals make sense, trying to lock deals up, talking to sellers, A through Z. So
what's driving for dollars for the person that just from this video
driving for dollars,
anything about real estate?
Driving for dollars is a gem. I'd never stop driving for dollars a day in my life. I may not do it as often, but driving for dollars is basically catching property in good area, bad areas, property that's distressed. So something that could have high grass, something with a tarp on the roof, something that just looks like, hey, look, I need to be shook back. Somebody buy me and fix me.
Right.
The neighborhood needs me to get back right. Yeah. So something that basically just looks like a distressed property, something that's kind of messed up. You want to find those, jot them down in your notes, kind of have something organized so where you can look over them later and try to get some sellers on the phone.
Or you can use Deal Machine / WBREI, one of our affiliate partners. But paper and pencil,
iPhone notes.
Remember, we trying to figure out how to do this with no cash, no experience, get iPhone 0 to 1.
iPhone notes.
Yep.
Gotta have an eye on the road. Don't be that one guy who's just in the middle of the road, riding the
brakes. Yeah.
But easiest way is you get on the street, make a square. Get in the neighborhood, make a square, go in and out. Whatever street you get on, write that street first. Everything underneath that street is just the address. So 1919, 1915. You don't need to write the street every time.
I like that.
Be efficient.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? If you can map it out, you can make it.
Yeah.
If people are motivated, I promise you, they're going to sell somebody their house. You just have to get there. You got to speed to the lead.
Right.
You know, you got to get there.
So gas in the truck that I'm already paying, I'm already driving anyway. That don't cost me anything. My cell phone, I'm already paying for it. That don't cost me anything. All right, cool. What's next?
So next at that point, I'm in Woodmere. I'm driving around. And I wouldn't advise this to anybody, but I'm going to be honest, you got to do what you got to do. You got to do it when you got to do it, bro.
Yeah.
I'm driving in Woodmere, and at the time, we had a bunch of different colorful envelopes. Like, that was our marketing tactic for, like, the mail. Don't get a standard, don't get an envelope I wouldn't open myself. Right. If somebody has a pink envelope, they handwritten, like, address on it, I'm going to open it up, whether I'm interested or not.
Right.
So it was a pink envelope. I stuck it in the mailbox. I looked at the house. The house was like, Mo, you need me. I need you. So I put it in the mailbox. I wouldn't advise it. I haven't done it since. But the guy called me the next day. He was like, hey, I got your letter. I'm interested in selling. It was written. It was written for me, bro, because it was the smoothest transaction. I went to the property, locked it up to the exact number I needed to lock it up for. We had a buyer lined up, smooth deal. And Mr. Stanley was just foot on the gas.
Yeah.
You know, foot on the gas. It's an addicting feeling. Once you close the deal, you just can't stop.
Hey, if you go back to that Nelson Salem interview, that's one of the first things he says, that real estate is addictive. The lead generation is addictive. The flipping is addictive. Yeah. I agree. And putting mail in people's mailboxes is kind of illegal. So don't follow anybody. Just put a knowledge message with you. But okay, so what's the timeline on that? So COVID hits, you talk to your friend, driving for dollars, drop it in the mailbox. He called. We talking 2 weeks, 3 months, 2 hours.
No way, man. We talking about probably this is like 7 months in. I'm 7 months in at this time.
Okay.
Every day, I'm talking about every day. There is no type of traction.
Right.
Nothing. Didn't stop me. I was just really focused. You know when you really want to do something or you really like something? This is why you should only do stuff you like. Because if you're really passionate about something, you're going to do it no matter what.
Right.
It's like the first thing you think of is the last thing you think of. It's just going to happen naturally one way or the other. So I'm very passionate about this real estate journey, like the game itself. But basically, everyday grinding, driving for dollars, making calls, moving back and forth, putting up bandit signs. We had the bandit sign thing going on.
Yeah.
And then after a while, like I said, it was about 6-7 months in of just really stuffing that pipeline. Something finally fell out.
Yeah.
You know? So I want to say we got that under contract. It took about 3 weeks to close it up. It was a cash buy, so it worked out pretty smooth. The seller was really cool, really nice. Everything worked out great. And like I said, once that kind of all finished up, it was like, to be honest, the journey was way more enjoyable than the check.
Yeah.
I got the check. I'm like, okay, cool. Let's go find another one.
Yeah.
But the journey, the process, the anticipation, actually getting a deal signed, the seller wouldn't sign the contract thing, until the 5th week of me following up after he verbally agreed to the price. I'm like, Jesus. So it's just all a learning experience. Like, it's all part of the game. And it really felt good to finally get something figured out in the pressure and stuff.
So describe your feelings from 0 to 6.5 months, or from 0 to 6 months up until the date of deal closed. Like, what that roller coaster, like, describe that roller coaster for the people that's at their second month right now and they only need to hang in there. Describe that roller coaster of feelings.
Yeah, I'd be lying if I said it was just straight, oh yeah, I'm going to grind every day. I'm so motivated. I'm disciplined. Oh wait,
Right.
You got to really push through. Like I said, if you're really ultimately passionate and you like doing something, it's going to make its way even through the rough days. But I mean, no, it's just a lot of self-reflecting. You got to definitely look into the knowledge. You got to stay motivated, and you got to be disciplined because, like I said, them days that you're not feeling it, somebody else is feeling it, and somebody else is getting the lead you almost had.
Right.
So you got to stay disciplined. You got to make yourself do it. I tell people all the time, before you go do 5 things, you got to master one thing.
Yeah.
Do one thing, stick to it, tunnel vision all the way through, and just make it happen.
I like it.
That's it. There's no plan B if you only focus on plan A.
I agree. So, fast forward, we closed that first deal. What is life like at this point? Now you got a proof of concept. You don't have a documented system yet, but you have an idea of what it takes to get to one deal. So, what's your activities and behaviors after that?
So my partner at the time, I was working with the group, and at the time, my partner, he was younger than me.
Mm-hmm.
But man, I'm so thankful for this guy because he was very, very, very smart. Every deal he had, every deal we kind of got into, it was always putting that money back in the system, back into knowledge, into courses. So honestly, we went from 6, 7, 8 months doing one deal. Let's say the first year we probably did 2 or 3 deals. Mm-hmm. By the end of year 2, we were at 40.
Yeah.
CRM, lead managers, VAs, full-fledged. I'm talking about, it wasn't me. All I did was acquisitions. My partner really set it up. He did not waste his money. He didn't waste his time. Everything was scaled. He had the vision from day one. Mm-hmm. He knew what he wanted to do, and I helped him in his journey to get there.
This the same partner that did the post on Instagram?
We're supposed to that.
The very first post to Driving for Dollars. Drive and get $500 for drive.
That was the same guy from Instagram, yeah.
Okay, all right, okay. So it seemed like he been building systems back then because he trying to get leads. He's using Instagram to get leads. Okay.
Yeah, in order to go from A to Z, you got to go from A to B.
Right.
So he scaled up slowly but surely, kept investing in knowledge. One thing he always did was invest in courses.
Yeah.
He would go buy a course here, Mo. I need you to get the top of your game so you can get some more price reduction.
Right.
Got to do this for this.
Yeah.
We got to get some better spreads. So
yeah.
He really helped me out a lot. I feel like it was beneficial for each other. We made it work. We slowly but surely kind of like understood every role of the system. Mm-hmm. So I was doing all things acquisition, but I understood all things dispo, I understood all things marketing, I understood all things like TC, transaction coordination.
Right.
So it's good to be doing what you need to do, but you have to be 110%. You can't just, if it wasn't for me being eager and me being so able to go learn these other things, I wouldn't be able to, hold it down.
Right.
Because, 2 bosses can only work together for so long.
Right.
You slowly but surely, you got to kind of do your own thing. Mm-hmm. So now we both do our own thing. It's, it's love, it's respect. I'm actually trying to find a deal that I could work on with my buddy because it's been a while since we worked together. Right. I just want to get something like an old time.
Just Mr. Camaraderie.
Mr. Camaraderie, because he helps me out a lot. I help him out a lot. It's just like the Westbank group. It's just a group full of people that are just in there to have each other's best interests and keep the culture moving forward. Yeah. Me and all my friends, me and anybody I come across, I try to have that same type of vibe, that energy. You got to have your best interests, and you got to have the next person's best interests.
Yeah.
Best.
So we get to 7 months, 0 to 1 deal, and now we in the next year. Now we up to 40 deals.
Going crazy.
What does life look like on a day-to-day with selling 40 deals a year?
Yeah. So pretty much, man, at this point, we went from, it was actually getting a little bit more easier because when you put that time in at first and you really scale up, it makes it easier. You get pretty much every level you scale up is a level closer to automation, right? So we basically went from having myself using all my time running numbers, running through leads, qualifying leads, driving $100, pulling mail. Yeah. Bro, I'm talking about, I had my mom help me write mail. I had to break her off on the weekend.
Yeah.
This is be
family business.
I love my mom. My mom holds it down. Actually, me and my mom do a lot of deals together. My mom's a school teacher, so she has a lot of like network around her that people are always like retiring, selling houses. So my mom gets a lot of commission.
Okay.
I may need a 1099. Yeah. But no, it's pretty lit. Like I said, it worked out pretty smooth. Moving forward,
Yeah, gotcha. You used the word dispo a couple minutes ago. For the people that don't know, what is dispo? What is TC? With dealing with wholesaling, how you define and describe that for people that don't know?
Nah, for sure. Dispo is pretty simple. So acquisitions is going to be pretty much dealing with the sellers. Mm-hmm. Acquisitions manager's job is to get a deal in the contract. Yeah. Dispositioning or dispo, that's basically selling the contract to a buyer. Mm-hmm. So you get a property locked up with your acquisition. The disposition job is to sell it. Yeah. Once you get an assigned contract to seller, assigned contract to buyer, Then you want to have a TC. Somebody can do it, or you can actually have somebody be the transactional coordinator.
Right.
So basically, that just delivers all the contracts, sends emails to the title company, gets everything ready for escrow to close, and basically the closing days.
Gotcha. Yeah. So if I'm just starting out, I'm pretty much doing everything. I'm talking to the homeowner, I'm talking to the buyer, I'm talking to the title company. What's some things, if I want to do this business right, because there's a bunch of information on YouTube.
For sure.
If I want to do this thing right, what do I need to avoid? Like, what's your...
Be very transparent. Nothing ever goes as planned.
What you mean?
Nothing ever goes as planned. Your closing date they got set for Friday. My closing date is tomorrow. I'm not going to the title company tomorrow because it's going to get pushed back to next week.
Yeah.
It just happens, right? So, I mean, always be transparent with your sellers, with your buyers, with your title attorneys, because sometimes stuff gets kind of rocky, but you need to learn how to pivot and do it the right way, because it's okay. As long as you communicate, things can always take a turn and make, a little delay here and there, smooth out. But if there's people in the dark, people in the kind of feeling left out, it makes it tough.
What's the example of that, of not being transparent? You seen that blow up?
Yeah, I seen it blow up pretty tough. You get a lot of those issues once you get a little bit more into it, once people start doing like the novation thing, where like a lot of people go out of town, they get deals and they put it on the market and sell it on the MLS. You can do that everywhere but Louisiana, right? So like, for example, if you're not wording it correctly to your seller, or you're not letting them know your game plan and your strategy, they're going to see their property on the market. They're going to be like, what are you doing? I don't want to work with you. Cancel this contract, right? That's just one example. Another example could possibly be just on the acquisition side. Let's say it's your first deal, and a lot of people, when you wholesale, there's like this aura that people don't want to know that you're wholesaling their property. So, I'm the buyer, right? You don't have to tell anybody you're the buyer, but you need to correctly create a environment and a scenario where you're not lying to these sellers, and they'll be prepared for stuff to go sour. I have a partner who closes on these deals with me. I have a funding partner, and if you wholesale a property, you're partnering with your buyer to close the deal, so you're not lying, right? But basically, you got to let people know, I have partners, or however you got to set it up, because what if somebody, the buyer, needs to come in the property more than once? What are you going to tell the seller after you use your excuse already? It's gonna raise traction and tension, and you could just kind of come correctly and just let people know what's going on, let them know you may need extra time for this or that, but just be transparent. Ultimately, just be very honest and transparent. It'll always work out better.
So that's being transparent with sellers.
Yeah.
For wholesalers just starting out, how do I be transparent? So what's the script you use with being transparent with buyers on the disposition side?
Yeah.
But I think that's a part of the business that get overlooked, because some people think that buyers, they should know better, or they already know what they're doing. They're already real estate investors. So tell us about being transparent on a disposition side. What's the pros and cons, or what's your approach with that?
So I'll actually tell you a trick that I use, and it works in your favor. Like I said, honestly, it always works in your favor. I downplay the property so bad that when a buyer looks at the property, it's better than I describe it. Right? If there's a small foundation issue, bro, this might need to be short. I want you to come look at it. I'm not sending you a contract till you come look at it. Then when they see it's a small problem, it's not that bad. But with your buyers, always be straight up. Don't ever feel like you're going to come up off a quick $20,000, $10,000 check, and then you mess over a buyer, even though they $100,000 was later down the line. And that's, you know what I mean? So if you don't know, like the biggest thing, I promise you, if you don't know about foundation, plumbing, if you don't know if the roof has been changed, just tell them, honestly, I don't know. Let me go double check it. Can you come with me and tell me how I should look at this, or what should I do to find that out for you? That goes way further. You'll get way more respected versus people thinking that, I'm dumb, I don't know this, we're going to not buy deals from you. Like, don't ever mess anybody over or lie to somebody when, trust me, you're not going to make the money you think you're going to make when that relationship isn't there. The relationship is the money. Money comes and goes, but the relationship will go further. I just had a deal somebody just bought from me. It was not a good deal. It was honestly overpriced. They bought it for me because they wanted to do a deal with heat. So that relationship it comes from over time. Just being real and transparent with your buyers. Hey man, look, I'm gonna be honest, this isn't a good deal for you. I'm gonna find you something better.
Right.
Emil, this ain't gonna work out for you, bro. I know somebody can probably take it. I'm gonna find you something better. Because I don't want you to go in there and it goes south. I want to do 10 deals with you, not one. I
understand. So what's your advice? The person that's never done a deal at all, they have analysis paralysis, they just reading books or just waiting to jump into this business. what do you tell them to overcome that wall to just get started, period? What's your advice?
You doesn't need somebody. You never need somebody. If God didn't raid to where I ran into my buddy, I couldn't get my realtor stuff accepted, I would have never learned everything I needed to learn for free and make money and like learn and kind of like have that experience, because I would have never had the chance to get it started. A lot of people don't get things started, and that's okay. I'm one of those people. Like, I won't draw the blueprint, but if you draw it, I'll execute it better than you.
Right.
Or I'll try to, at least, right?
Yeah.
So you just have to be able to play your role, be comfortable with playing your role, and never have an ego. Like, if you have the ego, if I had an ego that I'm older than my buddy, I'm not going to work underneath him. Like, I would have probably been doing something else right now.
Right.
So you got to put your pride to the side, get underneath somebody, bring value. Like, you have to provide value to get value.
Mm-hmm.
That's ultimately the best transaction. Like, you could give me your house and I could get you a check for the house.
Mm-hmm.
That's cool. We'll forget about each other next week and you cash the check and I'm selling the house to somebody else to rent the house, right? But that value for value, that goes a long way.
Yeah.
So try to find something that you have. JV and deals is a great idea. One of my buddies to this day, he goes in, he finds leads, I underwrite them for him, I help him lock it up and I'll sell it. You go 50-50 on the deals. Just because he has the value of finding these good deals, I have the value of helping underwrite and selling. I could have easily been like, hey bro, let me just give you an acquisition fee.
Yeah.
Give you 20%. He would have wandered off until more people came around and gave a better deal. Like,
right.
But I think if you have value that you can give, you can help somebody get to that 50%, even if they're only doing 20% of work. Help them get to that 50%. In the long run, they might have that trustworthiness, that loyalty that you couldn't pay for. Hey,
right.
You know, sometimes you got to pay to play. You got to put the best way to have friends is the buyer.
Yeah.
That's what they say. You know, so
with value.
With the value.
Yeah.
You don't just give somebody money fully value. You know,
right.
So I think that's the biggest thing. Don't be afraid to ask for help and ultimately get in and meet somebody. Or man, 25, 30, 40, 50% of a watermelon is always going to beat 100% of a grape.
I agree.
You know?
Yeah, I like that. Man, I like the aura and the spirit around the way you do business. So wholesaling does not have an ethics board. It does not have an ethics committee. It is literally the wild, wild west. You do business the way that you feel like doing it. But it sounds like you have a thermostat on the right way to do business. Where does that come from?
Yeah, man. I mean, I think it was kind of instilled in me through just growing up with my parents, through the religion. I'm pretty big on trying to always pray and go to the masjid, kind of get close to God. That's the biggest thing. Like, you always hear me say, I'll never be like, oh, man, yeah, I did my thing. I got this 50K price reduction. No, God provided me a way to get this 50K price reduction. You know, without him, you can't do nothing, bro.
Yeah.
So you got to always keep that first no matter what, even if you're in real estate or not. And honestly, just, like I said, you got to keep pushing, stay consistent, and move forward, man. You just got to make it happen.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Got to make it happen.
Good stuff, man. So, moving forward, what's some of the tools that you're using right now that you didn't have in the past? So, I mean, we had the iPhone, we had the pen and pad, we had moms helping out. So now, with your experience where you are now, what's some of the tools that you use now that people out there could use now that you know what to use?
Right. Well, honestly, it's kind of weird for me because, like I said, I was working with my buddy. We scaled up from A to Z, in a sense. Google Sheets, one cold caller to lead manager, liaise, Vesperfuse, Podio, launch control, text message blast.
Yeah.
And I'm talking, we got all this figured out. We got VAs, everything's integrated. I went from that system to when I started doing my own thing again. I don't know if it's me being lazy, bro, or if it's just like, I don't know what it is, but I started working with my buddy probably like July or August of last year.
Mm-hmm.
I ran into a huge leg assignment, be my first deal out. So that was kind of cool. Got a couple other deals, pretty cool. And I always told myself, I kept pushing it back. I always told myself, I'm like, all right, let me slowly kind of get some leads drawn up from maybe a website lead source or something, and close some leads, skip trace, just get one VA, start small.
Yeah.
Bro, I never got to that point. So from, August last year, 2022 to December, I did 3-4 deals.
Right.
Maybe 4 or 5 deals.
Mm-hmm.
From January 2023, year to date, I'm at like 14.
Yeah.
Thank God, word of mouth, driving for dollars, and kind of changing my focus. So, like, I do a lot of JV deals now, like people bring me deals. Like, I help them underwrite it and close deals, which is awesome. And my moms comes through with all the Metairie.
Yeah, shout out to moms.
Oh, moms. I love moms. No, moms and God.
Shout out.
It ain't nothing. It's tough, bro.
Right.
But, yeah, so moms comes through with all the Metairie deals, and it's it's just, it works out really smooth, bro. Because I take pride in the Metairie deals.
Yeah.
Like, I love the Wilshire Heights, the Bucktown, a lot of the place, the old Metairie. Like, I've been working this 21 unit on Metairie Road for like 4 months. Thank God we're finally locking it up, closing it in like a week and a half out.
Yeah.
And it's been a fiasco. I learned so much, though. I enjoyed it. Like, once again, the journey is better than the check. I'm not even worried about the money that's coming. It's probably the biggest assignment fee ever.
Right.
Whatever. I met so many buyers. I've learned how these multi-family commercial deals are just revolutionary.
Yeah.
Like, I wouldn't. Single families are awesome. Right. I would never stop focusing on that. But like, man, you could bring me a deal. I'll sell it for you. I'm focusing on these multis, bro.
Right.
And I just met so many people. And the most beautiful thing about these multis, it's never a bad phone call because they're all businessmen you're talking to. Right.
They're
all business owners. They're all entrepreneurs. Everything has a price. So even if they're not just in selling, it's not a harsh phone call.
Right. That's good.
Hopefully, like I said, I'm trying to get some more multifamily and focus on that moving forward. But that's kind of been like my stretch as of late.
Yeah. Man, you make it sound so easy to talk to people, period, between the buyers, the sellers, title companies, building relationship with partners. So how would you coach, or what's some tips you would give to somebody that's just petrified to talk to a seller on the phone? Like I put up my banner signs, the phone rung, I sent out a text message. They said, yes, I'm interested.
Sure.
They said, call me at 12 p.m.
Sure.
I'm doing everything but calling because my palms are sweaty, my stomach turning.
Text you.
Yeah. So I how do you get to the point where you can actually hop on the phone and get the ball rolling, getting those first few words out? Because I know once the conversation starts,
then you could.
Right. So how do you get over that mental wall to just make the call?
Yeah, you definitely got to role play a little bit. You got to have a script. If my buddy Hadi was here, Hadi would drill me because I never read the script.
Man.
You got to have a script, man.
Yeah.
And role playing is very important. You got to just get that first one off the way. The first one's always going to be bad. Like, it's always going to suck. So just find the worst lead and call those first.
It's all good.
And just get them out the way. It's just experience and practice.
Yeah.
Just like if you try to go and, for example, if you're playing ball, if you go out there and shoot rough, you might miss the first shot.
Mm-hmm.
If you get warmed up, shoot 10, 15 jumpers, but hit some layups and make some different threes,
right.
You're going to be more warmed up. You're going to be ready for the game.
Yeah.
The call with the seller is a game. You have to be ready. You always have to be prepared for everything you do.
Yeah.
You got to always have that mindset that I'm ready for this no matter what. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared. So I guess just get it rolling. Get through the tough times. It's going to be tough. And just get ready. Like I said, it took me 7 months to get a deal.
Yeah.
It takes some people 2 weeks. It takes some people 2 years.
Yeah.
Just once you get there, I promise you, it's a spiral effect. It's like you just woke up.
Yeah.
It's like a new vision you have, a new you.
I like it. Tell us about, because wholesaling on the internet, I first started in 2012. Wholesaling was like the black market. Like, you couldn't talk about it. It was literally everything had to be text message.
Yeah.
Everything had to be Craigslist. It was a handful of title companies that would even touch a wholesale deal.
Yeah.
So now it's all over the internet. Tell us what's not true about what they say on the internet about wholesaling, so that people could come into it with a clean slate of having clear expectations so they don't quit once they get into it. So the stuff that you see, like, what's absolutely not true?
100%. You definitely don't need a system to get started.
Okay.
Like, scale to your system for sure. It'll work. You want to get automated, but you don't need to drop $10,000 on the course to let a wholesale. You don't need to invest in cold callers and skip trace all these leads. Go drive for dollars. Go ask around. You'd be surprised. You could ask somebody, does anybody know somebody sign off?
Right.
Go and find, I hate to say it, but go through the obituary, see who passed away. Go see who inherited a property that lives way in Mandeville now. They got a house in Kennett.
Right.
Go see, like, different avenues. Start very, very small and then work your way up. You can't go to A to Z because you're going to quit. It's too unrealistic.
Yep.
But going from A to B, B to C, C to D, you get to D, you might be able to jump from D all the way to X.
I like that.
Realistically, you have to get it started. Real estate is like stairs. You got to go up one step at a time. When you miss a step, you end up going back down 2 steps.
Mm-hmm.
Like, don't skip the process. I'm telling you, it's the most enjoyable part. It's the funnest, best part. You can't beat it. Like, you can't go back to it when it's done. When you start balling and you start having all these deals, you can't go back to that zero deal because you're trying to get your first one.
Yeah.
That's why people start new businesses and new hustles when they get rich, because they get bored.
Yeah.
The enjoyment isn't there.
We talked a little bit off camera when we said that, and this is a controversy, that wholesaling is not real estate, right? So
yeah, it's really not.
why you think so? And I'll tell you why I think so.
Sure. I'll tell you why. Wholesaling, like I said, I think it's more sales and marketing.
Mm-hmm.
I have no real estate license. I have no home inspector license. I have no contractor license. I have no notary license. I have no, I have nothing certifying me for any type of real. If you take my advice in real estate, it's because you taking it because it's me.
Right.
Not because I'm certified.
Right.
So I think the biggest thing with wholesaling, you're not really diving into real estate because you're not focusing on the actual property. You're focusing on a seller, connecting the dots of their problem per se with a solution. You're a middleman, right? You're basically solving the problem, and the problem may not be there. You may need to kind of create the problem, right? You solve the problem, and you kind of just repeating the process over and over again. For example, this coffee shop we're at, the seller is distressed. The coffee shop looks great. The seller's distressed for whatever reason. We come in here, we create a sub-2 deal for them to where we take over the note, pay it off, and get them in a better position. I'm not doing anything with real estate. All I did was solve their problem by getting a meal into a good deal because I underwrote the deal. I understand that side of it, right? And then I got the seller in a good position because now they're not in a bad spot. That was nothing. I didn't pick up a hammer. I didn't open the door. I didn't take any nails out. I didn't get an inspection on the plumbing being jacked up. You know what I mean? Right. So you kind of have to dot your I's and cross your T's on a few things about the structure of property and how they kind of work. You have to get yourself in the mind of a buyer. What would I do if I was buying this property? Where would I need to be at? What would I look at? But realistically, I mean, man, that's the sales and marketing.
Yeah.
The sales isn't just you talking to a seller; it's you selling the deal to a buyer.
That's good.
You know what I mean?
I like that. I'm gonna add to that. Wholesaling, you are not buying insurance. You are not, man. You're not buying insurance. You're not renovating the property. You're not dealing with the contractors. You're not dealing with the government, either locally or whatever entity, whatever government you have to deal with a property is dealing with. You're not dealing with property taxes. You're not dealing with vandalism. So, like, wholesaling, I really think is the best muscle to work out to understand real estate. But because you are in the wholesaling niche, you are not quite in the real estate yet. But like you said, take the opportunity to learn as much as possible while you're in that seat. And also, I want to add too, man, as a wholesaler, you valuable. I know I dealt with that when I first started. I felt like the buyers were way more valuable than I was until I became a buyer. And then I had to look for wholesalers. Right, then I had to look for wholesalers. So I'm glad you brought that up, man. So as we wrap up, we talked about from good to great, that BHAG, your big, hairy, audacious goal. What does the big, hairy, audacious goal look like for you, and how can we help you get there?
Straight liquid. Right now, my immediate goal is I want to get 7 figures liquid just off wholesale. And I think focusing on these multifamilies, like looking at these bigger spreads and getting the opportunity to not only deal with different, one of the things about real estate is you deal with different people. Getting into this multifamily space, which I'm so blessed, thank God.
Yeah.
I actually got one of like the best commercial brokers in the state. He's helping me sell this deal.
Yeah.
And we've been just talking business. He's been opening my eyes up to a world I wasn't even looking at.
Yeah.
Right? So dealing with different buyers, with different sellers, even sellers too. You always want to scale your business, but the most important thing to do is scale your mind.
Right.
If you don't see the vision, if you don't really honestly make yourself believe you can make, just for example, $100 million a month, you'll never get close to 100,000.
So how do I do that? Like, I'm waking up in the same place every
You have to get that motivation, and the motivation comes and goes. You got to learn a way to get disciplined. My way was getting closer with God, like learning the way that I feel is right to live. Because when you live the right way, you make the right decision. And that's in everything is connected. It's a really small world. Smaller than we would really probably like it to be. So you have to be good with everywhere and good with everybody, to make it make sense. So that's kind of just my thing. Real estate second, put God first. Put your business second, always put God first. All right.
Yeah.
Give me all right.
So we face in the direction of multifamily, 7-figure business.
Sure.
Last question, man. So what does the 2023 what advice do you give to that 2020 COVID Instagram scrolling Mo? So if you could put your hand on his shoulder, say, look, bro, this what this next 3 years gonna look. What advice do you give him to help him avoid some of those pains that he went through?
Honestly, I'll put my hand on his shoulder and I would tell him to get more involved with the knowledge and the education, the quicker you learn it, the quicker you can put it to use and make it happen. Like if I didn't learn how to analyze a multifamily, I wouldn't be confident to even approach a multifamily. So I would say get on it, take your time, but the more passionate you are about something, the more you're on it. So I would say just keep putting your money. Don't waste your money on dumb stuff. Don't get that first check. Oh my God, let me go buy a pair of Dunks. Let me go buy some Yeezys. Put that money back into the business, into more knowledge. You'll have more fun once you hit that 6-figure goal than when you hit that first 7, 8, 10K.
Put in the work. Yeah.
Put in the work. Just put in the work and don't look back.
Definitely. Well, I appreciate it, man. Thank you for coming out. Hey,
appreciate you.
InvestorFestNewOrleans.com. Mo's gonna be there. I'm gonna bring him myself. He don't make it there.
I'll have a haircut for him.
But he'll be there. He'll have a haircut October 28, 2023. InvestorFestNewOrleans.com. And I appreciate you, brother.
Love
y'all later.
Yeah,
sure.